Round after round of rain leads to widespread flooding in south central and eastern Kansas.
Water pooled on roads as drivers try to make it through, only to stall, and evacuations underway in El Dorado, including at a senior living center.
And we are tracking breaking news right now. Sedgwick County declared a state of local disaster emergency because of the major flooding. This declaration lets the county access state resources if needed.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jeff Herndon.
And I'm Julia Thatcher. The rain is much needed, but too much in a short period of time is proving to be dangerous. The Wichita Fire Department says it worked over 80 submersion calls since 10:30 this morning.
Yeah, flash flood emergency in effect for Sedgwick and Butler counties until 5:45. Other counties under flash flood warnings include Greenwood, just issued, you mentioned, Lisa, a few minutes ago. And the rain, it's not done yet, right, Lisa?
It is not. And make sure that you respect the warnings, respect the polygons, because we do have several counties that are under the flash flood warnings and the flash flood emergencies. And we also have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect, watching the leading edge of these thunderstorms that are now starting to approach Chautauqua County. Coming out of Oklahoma, we've had several tornado warnings across the state line into Oklahoma. The tornadic threat is there. It is rather low. Worried more about damaging winds and also the flooding threat. While the flash flood warnings have been lifted from Sedgwick and Butler counties, these polygons indicate where we have the emergency flash flood warnings and the flood warning in effect for the Greenwood County area. We also have additional counties that are under flood warnings because the streams, creeks, and rivers are going to be running high. It's going to take some time before that water can crest. Closer look at El Dorado and Butler County. The emergency flash flood warning easily 4 to as much as 7 inches of rainfall within the last 12 hours, according to Doppler radar estimates. And from Wichita points eastward, also pinpointing 6 to 8 inches of rainfall to the east of downtown Wichita. But downtown Wichita picking up 3-4 inches of rainfall, according to Doppler radar estimates. That's a lot in a short period of time. We also have more thunderstorms that are moving through the southeastern parts of Sedgwick County through Butler County, waiting for that cold front to push a little bit farther to the east. Once it does so, we will start to dry out. Severe thunderstorm watch in the pink, not including Wichita nor Sedgwick County, in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. We'll continue to keep you updated. Back over to you.
Lisa, thank you. First responders working quickly to get people to high ground as water rises in El Dorado.
Yeah, firefighters were going from house to house by boat to pull people out of their homes. A senior living center is also being evacuated. KSN's Mike Mahoney live in El Dorado tonight. Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, no shortage of flooded roads, flooded businesses, flooded playgrounds, and home evacuations here in El Dorado and Butler County. The biggest story in El Dorado right now is the evacuations that we have heard about going on at the Lawndale senior residence. We're about a half mile away from there, but it is far too flooded for us to access, and unfortunately, officers on scene are not giving us any information. They say we need to talk to the fire chief or police chief, and we're going to try to do that, get you the latest on the Lawndale senior residence evacuation coming up on your KSN News at 6. But we do have a message from the Butler County Emergency Management Team. They're recommending that individuals follow areas and evacuate to the community building in the following areas, I should say. Those who live between North 8th Street and McCullum Road, and those between Topeka Street and Lawndale. Please evacuate. Resources are being taxed beyond first responders' limits. They want you out of there safe. They don't want to have to come and rescue you. And please call 911 if you need help. Live in El Dorado, here for you, Mike Mahoney, KSN News 3.
Mike, thank you. And to put it into perspective, just how much rain has fallen on El Dorado, the lake is 1.9 feet above normal. It's gone up nearly 1.5 feet in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, and many parts of Wichita also experiencing some widespread flooding. Vehicles are strewn about, left stranded in the road after drivers tried to go through those flooded roads.
KSN Zena Taher continues our team coverage. And Zena, you've been out there all day. How do roads look now compared to what you saw earlier?
Yeah, Jeff, Julia, we're at Hydraulic in Wausau right now, and we're looking out on a flooded intersection with a lot of cars still moving through it. I want to give you a live look at what that looks like right now. You can see one car making its way to that intersection, a little sedan. It might turn into this parking lot here. There was a Beamer that did that earlier today, and we've seen drivers rush through that intersection. One truck rushed through and then stalled out, and this is similar similar to what we showed you earlier at 4 p.m. at Pawnee and Hillside. I want to give you a look at what that looked like. As you can see, that video is a prime example of how floodwater can be deceptively deep and strong. That scene looked a lot worse than this one. There were a lot of cars lined up one behind another, and there was a manhole cover that was floating and a 4-door sedan that was rocking in the floodwaters. Some drivers did know to take a break, but remember, we're at the intersection of Wausau and Hydraulic, and you'll also want to avoid that Pawnee and Hillside intersection. Just be careful while you're driving so that you don't get stuck in those floodwaters. Here for you, Zena Taher, KSN News 3.
All right, Zena, thank you. Now, one part of Wichita that always floods, Bleckley Drive, and today, no different.
Yeah, the city is currently working to fix the issue, but many people got stranded in high water, including a woman in her 80s. KSN's Peyton Steiner joins us now live.
Yeah, Jeff, Julia, since we got here about just an hour and a half ago, the water has already crept all the way up the hill. Just a little bit ago, we were down the block at the end of the street. Since then, it's been completely submerged. Since then, police have been out, coming in and out, deploying boats just to get to areas that they can't reach on foot to rescue people in houses. And evacuation operations have been happening between 8th Street and McCollum Road and between Topeka Street and Lawndale. But a little bit earlier today, we were in Wichita around the Bleckley and 1st Street, which is an area known to flood. Right in the middle of the storm, cars were stranded in almost every direction, and the Wichita Fire Department moved boats in to rescue trapped, unreachable cars. The water sometimes flooded up through the windshields, and people were still driving through. The area is known for its flash flood tendencies, and residents in the area said they had never seen it quite this bad.
Around, don't drown. So if it looks deep, probably best just to not pursue it and turn around. But quite a few people have just disregarded that
and kept going.
We will be continuing to bring you updates on these flash floods here in El Dorado and on Bleckley. And here for you in El Dorado, Peyton Steiner, KSN News 3.
Peyton, thank you. Well, you heard the folks in the story there, and you saw the sign. When floodwaters rise, turn around, don't drown. Only take 6 inches of rain or water to knock a person off their feet. A car or small SUV can be swept away in 12 inches of water, while 18 inches can carry away a large truck.